Thank you for listening to the Digit AI Marketing Podcast. Today's episode is the 90-day cliff, why AI side hustles break down. Now, there's a production collapse that happens when production friction disappears. You become exposed. The bottleneck moves to judgment, positioning, and follow through. Speed produces an illusion of certainty. You can ship 10 versions before you have evidence you understand the problem. Without a constraint that forces learning, you optimize for output and call it momentum. The collapse happens when the next unit of output is no longer meaningfully better than the last. At that point, volume stops substituting for strategy, and the project reveals its real constraints, which are relevance, trust, and repeatable demand. Platform filters, distribution systems adapt to protect attention. They learn to ignore scalable sameness because sameness is abundant and cheap. Generic output creates predictable patterns, similar structure, similar claims, and similar value density, for example. As those patterns produce, they get created as background noise, even if the content is technically competent. What survives is work that carries specificity, a clear point of view, a narrow problem definition, and evidence that it changes a reader's behavior. The filter is distinctiveness under competition. Early momentum is borrowed from novelty. Novelty provides energy without requiring systems, which is why the first few weeks feel frictionless, and then the work becomes operational. Maintaining cadence, improving the offer, handling ambiguity, and responding to feedback that contradicts your assumptions. That's when motivation drops, right when the project needs process most. If your operating model is try harder, the decline is guaranteed. Humans cannot outwill a structure that demands constant activation energy. So if you only do one thing, measure progress in loops, not outputs. Outputs tell you what you made, loops tell you whether you're getting better at making the right thing. A system is repeatable structure that converts attention into outcomes without requiring constant willpower. It defines what you do next, what counts as success, and how feedback changes the next cycle. Build one loop you can run weekly. Choose a narrow problem. Produce one artifact, distribute it, capture responses, and adjust the next cycle based on what changed in the behavior. If the loop is stable, outputs are going to become inevitable instead of exhausting like they usually are. So, thank you for listening to this executive summary all about what we're working on right now here at Digit AI Marketing. We've been working a lot on this idea and concept of this 90-day cliff and why a lot of people don't make it to day 91 and why their side hustles end up breaking down and why people end up giving up by day 91. So if you want to read the full breakdown, make sure you check it out in the show notes. We wrote an article and recorded a podcast called The 90-Day Cliff, where you can get all of the details and instructions. Thank you again so much, always, for subscribing and listening to the Digit AI podcast. If you're not subscribed, make sure to follow, make sure to download this podcast, and I will see you on the next episode.